Y'all ready for this episode? This episode is a testimony of my life, the most true and vulnerable that I've been. And I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you listen and take something to learn from it. This is the reason why I am who I am, and why I love God as much as I do. I love my mama too. She's my rock, and she's the reason why I do what I do. So enjoy this, take it in with a humble heart, and I hope you really learn something about Darius Deon Freeman. So this is the testimony of my life. Enjoy. Hey y'all, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of Talks with Darius Deon. This is my second episode, and honestly, I've been putting this off for so long because this episode is a testimony of my life and what I've been through. And the reason why I've been putting it off is because I've just been trying to find the right words and the right things to say. I don't know, I've been through so much in my life, and I'm about to go into great detail, but it's just hard opening myself up and being this vulnerable to people that I don't know. But I know that there is power in my testimony, there is power in my story, and that somebody listening on the other side of this audio or the other side of this camera can learn from it, can grow from it, and it could possibly change their life. And so here we go. This is the second episode of Talks with Darius Deon, and this is my testimony, my story. Starting at the beginning, I came from, the church family and everything, but I lived with my mom, and she was a single parent, and so it was me, my brother, and my sister. And at first, it was just my little self going to kindergarten and everything. I was a great student. I excelled in all of my classes. I even got put in GT and everything. But in kindergarten, acting a fool in class this day, and I just felt like I just wanted to act out for some reason, and my color kept getting changed. And as my color kept getting changed, in the back of my mind, I was like, oh, I'm going to get in trouble when I get home. Like, there's going to be a belt waiting for me. I'm going to get a whooping. But I don't know. I kept getting in trouble. And then for some reason, it was towards the end of the class, and my dumb self somehow ended up falling back and banging my head on the ground. And I ended up getting sent to the nurse because my teacher was afraid. But that was just another thing added on to my color being changed and my teacher having to talk to my mom. But as I rode the bus home, y'all, I was so scared. Like, I was so scared of what my mama was going to say, what she was going to do, because as I remember, like, I was getting in trouble so many times before that for little things, and I know it was going to add up, and I know she was just getting tired of telling me to do the same things over and over again, and I was just to be good and stop acting out. But I get home, I'm afraid, and I get in there, and she's not there yet, but she comes home from work. And as soon as she comes home from work, I just remember this so vividly, but she comes in and she tells me to take all of my clothes off, and she whoops me. And there was this purple couch that I remember that we had, and I remember just the sounds and the way that she whooped me, and the image is just so clear in my head, and I'll just never forget it. And I woke up that next morning, and I had bruises and welts all over my body. And I remember her saying, like, you better stop crying and don't be looking dumb like that, because I'm going to give you something else to cry about. And I just had to suck all my tears back up. And I went to school that day. And walking into school, me being that little, I'm getting emotional. But I walked in, and I don't know, I felt like I all of a sudden just had to smile. I couldn't let anything that went on at home or anything that I just got in trouble for the night before affect what was going on in school. So I put this smile on my face, me being that little, and walked in like nothing was wrong. But I remember standing in line and my teacher seeing the welts on my body. And I had this muscle shirt on. If you're watching the video, I had this muscle shirt on, white beat if you want to call it. But I had one of those on, and she remember seeing it, and she was like, what is that? And I was like, oh, it was just me being little. Oh, it was just something. My mama with me, and it was just something, blah, blah, blah. And it was all of a sudden, that is what kickstarted this whole thing. And the whole thing that started is me being in music class. So after that, I was in music class, just sitting there. And all of a sudden, I'm just enjoying the music. We're sitting there. And then all of a sudden, a teacher comes to the doorway. And she's like, Darius, we need you. So I get up and I go. and they take me down to the office. And as soon as I walk into the office, there's just so many teachers sitting in this horse-shaped thing, telling me bye, having gift bags and cards ready for me, saying that I'm about to leave the school and they're so sorry for me. And I'm just sitting there being so little, like, what are y'all doing? Like, where am I about to go? And they're telling me, like, you won't be going to school here. And then all of a sudden I had to leave. And we leave there, and my sister was like, I don't even know how many months old, maybe 6, 3 months. I don't know. My brother was 2 years younger than me, but we go pick them up from daycare. And I'm riding in the back of the CPS car, and all I'm doing is crying and bawling my eyes out. And we pick my brother up, and actually, yeah, I don't even know what my sister was doing during this whole time, this whole process. She wasn't even with me and my brother. It was just like, oh, it's me and my brother, and we're getting taken by CPS. And all I can think in my mind was, this is my fault. Like, me being this little, like, this is my fault that we're about to get taken away from my mama. Like, yeah, I might have been mad or upset or just hurt that she whooped me or everything, but I didn't even think me showing my teacher the welt to my body was going to lead to everything that was transpiring. So I remember riding in the CPS car. They took us to this place where they asked us all these questions, and then they put us in a foster care home. And I remember being in that foster care home, and there were so many kids. I had to get in the bathtub, and they took pictures of all of us, me and my brother. It was nobody else around, but I guess they were doing it for a case. And we stayed there, and I don't even know. I felt like we stayed there for a century, but the time just passed me by because I wasn't even thinking of, oh, this is what I'm going to do next. There's this coming. I just knew that, oh, I was taken away from my mama. Here I am with my brother. I don't know who my sister is, and now I'm in foster care. And so, I was sitting there in foster care, and I was just like, dang, I'm so scared. I didn't mean to do that, and I didn't mean to tell them, but I stayed there. I made good friends and everything, and I loved everybody that was at that foster care, and I didn't really realize how much I loved them until it was actually time to go. And as it was time to go, I was like, dang, like I was living in this place, like just caught up in this world that I was living in with all these kids that have come from abusive homes and just, I don't know, maybe were given up by their parents. And then all of a sudden I got so used to that love and that affection from others that I thought loved me and cared about me that now it was time to go. They were taking me to another foster home. And so then me and my brother ended up leaving that one, and we went with this black man. And I remember, I don't know, the reason why I remember this and I'm telling this story is because he was just so mean to my brother. And it should bring awareness to the foster care system and everything that was going on. And I don't know if things are still like this now, but he was mean to my brother and nice to me and would like give me candy. And I don't know if he had an agenda or anything, but he didn't treat all of me, my brother, and the two other boys, the black boys that live with us, fairly. And I remember, like I clearly remember, because my brother missed my mom. And all he wanted to do was like hug her and talk to her. And my brother was crying. He kept crying over and over again. And this man literally made my brother go stand outside in the cold. And he was like, if you want your mama so bad, go walk and get her. And I just remember sitting on the couch being like, I can't even do nothing but sit here and watch my brother be torn apart. And this man not even care. Because he doesn't know what we've been through. Or like, he doesn't really care. But we ended up leaving that place, and we stayed with my grandma for about 2 weeks, or not 2 weeks. I don't know why I said that, but we stayed with her for a while until we actually eventually ended up back with my mama. And I'm just so thankful we did, because I love her so much. And even though I'm telling this story and the things that I went through, she still is my rock. She still is the reason why I do all these things today. But yeah, getting back to the story, we went back with her, and everything was good for a while. And then all of a sudden, all of us really started acting out and getting in trouble at school. But I can tell, like, she started whooping us again. And as she started whooping us, like, all of those issues and emotions came back. And I ended up having so many anger issues. I would go to school and I would lash out. Like, I can't even tell y'all how quick I would lash out on my friends, my family, anybody that was around me. Like, I can be the most happiest dude, and then as soon as somebody made me mad, it was at the snap of a finger, the drop of a hat, that I would flip the script on them. And it didn't matter how close you were to me. I had this choir teacher named Jessica Zagarias, and I hope if you're listening right now that you just know how much I truly appreciate you and cherish the moments and times we spent together, and just how much you actually loved me like I was your one of your one of your sons that you gave birth to. But we got into an argument so bad in class one day that she yelled at me to go out into the hallway and to get out of the class because of how disrespectful and rude I was being to her in class in front of all the students. And when I think back to it, I don't know who the hell I thought I was being that disrespectful to a teacher. But she sat me in the hallway. And what was crazy is I thought she was just going to be like any other teacher, yelling at me and going to get me in trouble and say all these things. But she got in the hallway and she looked at me and she was like, there is something more, like something deeper going on here. Like, I don't know what it is, but there's more to the story, and there's more to you. And as she said, she was like, what's wrong? Like, are you okay? And as she said those words, I immediately began to just burst into tears and cry, because I don't know. We go through so many things, and for somebody to truly ask you like what's wrong, and me being that kid who was just so angry and had all these emotions going on in my mind, not knowing like why my mama whooped me, why she beat me, like why I'm going through these things, why I don't really have a father in my life, and this and that. And just to have this teacher really truly like want to ask me like what's going on, like why are you feeling this way. And I don't know, I really broke down and opened up completely fully in that hallway. And that day was a pivotal moment in the life of Darius Deon Freeman, because from that day on, she took me by under her wing, and she just, I don't know, helped me be able to explain my emotions and articulate them in a correct way. And it took 4 years from that freshman year to my senior year. It took 4 years. Like, it's not easy, and it wasn't easy. But as I tried and I failed, and I got back up again, and as she picked me up, and as I had other people to lean on, I was able to fully connect to my emotions and speak my mind clearly without being rude and cussing and doing all this and all that. And so this leads to this part in my story. I remember sitting at home one day watching Oprah, but she was doing a segment on testimonies, and it was so crazy because this boy that got on and was doing this story with his mom had actually been through some of the exact same thing I went through. He was beaten, and he was in foster care, and he felt very neglected and not loved by his mom. He was bawling on the television, and as he was telling his story and telling why he felt the way he felt, I just remember sitting in that living room, my mama being on the couch behind me, and me trying to hold back the tears because I didn't want her to see how I truly felt, because I was scared for her to see like why, like how I felt about the whole thing that like she kind of, not put me through, but yeah, put me through. And as I sat there and I bawled on that floor, she kept asking me like, Darius, what's wrong? Like, are you okay? Like, Darius, what's wrong? And I could not, like I tell you, I could not even open up my mouth to speak. It took about 10 to 15 minutes, me standing in the hallway and her literally sitting there trying to hold me to ask me what was wrong. And as I was sitting there watching that boy on TV, the only thing that went through my mind was like, yeah, I get how you feel, because it's hard. And I don't know if anybody else is listening to this, but if you don't feel loved, and if you don't feel cherished, and if you're feeling like you're alone, or if you feel like you're maybe going through abusive relationships with your parents, or you feel neglected, know that you are not alone, and that you do have people that are there for you, and that they will help you. But standing in that hallway for 10 to 15 minutes, being so afraid to open up and tell my mama, like, this is how I felt, took a whole lot of courage. And I was only able to finally open up my mouth to say something because of the things that I worked through at school, and with my choir teacher, and with everybody else, just being able to open up and connect my emotions. But I told my mama, and that was one of the biggest breakthroughs that I've experienced with me and her relationship. And as I told her what happened, she just said she had no idea what I had been through, or like really why I felt that way. She had never knew that I felt that way about the situation that we had all been through. And from that day on, it was just more growth, more learning, and more connecting, and getting to know each other on a deeper level, and really and truly understanding what we've been through and why we felt the way we felt, and where we could go from there. And from that day on, it's just been an uphill climb with me, my family, my brothers and sisters. Like, I always feel like I was closer to my friends more than my brothers and sisters, but that's because I was always distancing myself from my family due to the things that I had been through. But now that I sit here today, I'm able to say that y'all, with everything that I've been through, with going through foster care, with the anger issues, with I during that time, I don't know if I said it already, but I was suicidal. I didn't want to be alive. I don't know. I was in really just this most depressed state for a couple of years without really anybody knowing, because I was able to function with just, I don't know, with me being me. But when I get in my room and when I got by myself, I was crying. I was depressed. I was calling out to God, like, why? Why me? But I could have been on the streets. I could have been anywhere. But I chose to keep pushing. I chose to keep God first. And I chose to have faith that everything that I was going through was for a reason. That all the trials and the struggles that I was going through was for a reason. And that He made me strong enough to handle every single thing that I was going through. And as I stand here today, a college graduate, 4 years, bachelor degree, all these people that have loved, that have cherished me, that have built me up, that have cared for me, it wouldn't have been possible if I would have given up. If I would have gave up on God, if I would have gave up on myself, if I would have gave up on my family. You have to keep pushing. You have to keep fighting, because I could have been on the streets. I could have been selling drugs. I could have been anywhere, but I was one of the top 10% of my class from high school. I graduated with a 3.9 GPA. I was in student council. I was in senior class. I was in a BSA. I was in every single thing that I can be involved in, because I loved taking my emotion and everything that I went through and putting it into my passions. And that led to me being here today. And I'm just sitting here reflecting. Like, yeah, dang, I went through all of those things. And that once used to be the story that I would tell people initially when they met me about the testimony of my life. But now I'm sitting here telling the story of grace and mercy and the blessing and the calling of my life. Because when I tell people my story, and the things that I've been through, they never would have guessed. They never would have imagined, because of the smile on my face and the joy that I carry and the love that I give out, because I know what it feels like not to be loved, and I never want anybody else to feel like that. That's the reason why I work as hard as I do. I do all the things that I do. I cherish people. I make sure they know that I love them, and I'm always there. And if you're my friend and if you're in my life, you know that I'm always saying I'm always there and that I'm always here for you. Because I want to be that light. I want to be that hope. I want to be that person that somebody can lean on. Because whenever you feel alone, I don't want anybody to feel like they don't have anybody to go to. But I'm sitting here just so thankful. So thankful. Because even though I went through that, I'm still here today and I made it. And I saw the victory. The weapon may have been formed, but it did not prosper. And y'all, it's Mother's Day, and this might be crazy talking about this story and trying to say all this stuff about my mama, but I truly appreciate all of her sacrifices, because as I get into more of my podcast and as y'all listen to more of these things about my life and about my dad and about the reasons why my mom had all these issues and the way she acted, you will see and understand, oh, okay, this is the reason why Darius is the way he is. This is the reasons why, oh, maybe I can get through life. Oh, he went through this. Oh, they went through this. Oh, okay, I can keep pushing. I can keep moving forward. But yeah, y'all, I just wanted to come on here and share my testimony, cry a little bit, get vulnerable, and just really be true and honest. It's Mother's Day. I love my mama from the bottom of my heart. She sacrificed so many things. I watched her not eat, just put food on the table for me, my brother, my sister, and work her ass off. And I just cannot wait to do all the things and accomplish all of my goals. Because the one thing that I want to do is buy my mama a house that she always wanted, buy her the car she always wanted. do everything that I want to do to please my mama and to please God. And that's just it. And yeah, y'all, I really do hope you take something to learn from this testimony, because no matter what you're going through, I want you to keep walking by faith and not by sight. Keep God first. And that's really the thing. I'm going to tell y'all the reason why I am a Christian, the reason why I love God so much is because of all the things that I've been through. I would not be here if it was not for him. If it was not for him. And it honestly didn't take me fully knowing and fully trusting him and fully learning that until I'm literally graduating and having all these revelations and discoveries and reflections through these past 3 days of graduation and goodbyes and all these other things. But yeah, y'all, there's more to this story. There's more to me. We coming. The next thing will be about my dad, and then I'll tell y'all the reason why I love God and why I devote my life to Christ so much. And then we'll lead into exactly what I told y'all we're going to do about the testimonies, about the faith walks, about other people and their life stories, going to college as a black student and how it was going through this pandemic and everything else, y'all. All right? And I know this was a little bit long. I hope you stay tuned, and I hope you were, listening to me. And I honestly really hope it affected you in some way, and you learned just a little bit more about why I am the way I am. And why I really do want to be this light and this beacon of hope. But yeah, I just want to show people that no matter what you go through, no matter what you've been through, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. And somebody's always right there, working all things together for your good and working things together in your favor. So this is Talks with Darius Deon. I'll see y'all later. All right.